Okay, let's have a talk about communist violence, why, how the media presents it, how the media encourages it, and things like that. But I'm going to do a little experiment with you first, all right? Just a little experiment. It involves no thought whatsoever, so don't worry about it. We're just going to do a first answer that pops into your head. Yes or no, okay? It's a yes or no thing. First answer that pops into your head. Let me ask you something. Do you consider Captain America, the fictional character, do you consider him to be a violent man? I ask that because most people, their first answer to that question is no. I mean, obviously, he's running and jumping and fighting and doing these things, but most people would say no. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that, all right? There's an interview that's been making the rounds. It's about 5 years old. But it's a very, very revealing interview. AOC, that loser congresswoman from the Bronx, is sitting down with Megan Rapinoe, the crazy feminist lesbian soccer player. They're all sitting around having a lovely little chat about how America's burning and crumbling. And there's a moment in this I thought I would bring up for the purpose of our conversation. Here it was.
Perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring. And so maybe something is declining right now, but maybe it deserves to decline.
Pretty revealing little moment. Maybe you haven't seen that clip before. But I want to just point out, again, like I mentioned before, you see that? When AOC described everything crumbling down, everything you love, everything around you, she got that look. Well, you're looking at it right now on the screen. That look that everyone knows. What is that look? That is a look of satisfaction. A job well done. I made the comparison when I pull a brisket off of the smoker. If I've done it perfectly, and I know it, that is the exact look I get on my face. I did it. Job well done. Communists are violent by their very nature because their religion is a religion of destruction. Always. There's no end to the destruction either. Communists will try to sell you on their communism by always promising that they will build something new and lovely on the back end, of course. And in a while, we're going to build something new. Of course, that never, ever comes, though. It's just destroy everything all the time. And this could be so hard for decent, good people to understand because they can't relate in any way to that way of thinking. Who wants to burn down everything? I'll have people ask me questions about the various things, former things that were good that communists have taken over, like the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts, and now it's for women. And people, Jesse, why would they come for the Boy Scouts? They come for everything. Everything. The communist looks around and he sees things to destroy that you don't even notice. Things that you don't even notice. He looks and he sees, oh, I bet I could burn that down. That's how he thinks. It's very, very difficult for normal people to understand that. And because that's how he thinks, because the goal is the destruction of everything, he is violent by necessity, because there is no non-violent way to destroy things. It doesn't matter what it is. This piece of paper right here. If I want to destroy this piece of paper, how would I do it? Maybe I would have to light it on fire. Maybe I could tear it up into little bitty bits, but there's no non-violent way to do it. I can't sit and pray for it. I can't wish it to go away. If I want to destroy this piece of paper, I must commit acts of violence to destroy the piece of paper, and that's why the American Democrat speaks about violence and talks about violence and thinks about violence in a way that is just, well, that's how it has to be. I asked you the question about Captain America because this is my point. Most people, and I've done this 10 times in the last day as an experiment, and 10 out of 10 said no. Most people say no, Captain America isn't violent. But why do you consider him not violent? I've personally watched in the movies and read in comic books, I've watched this guy beat up and kill God knows how many people, aliens, enemies, Nazis, whatever. By any measure, if you actually thought about it, you would say that's a violent man, but you don't consider him violent because he's committing acts of violence for the good guys and against the bad guys. That's why you consider him nonviolent. That's why the left loves this Luigi guy. You remember United Healthcare Insurance Company, their CEO, a father of two little children. He was murdered by this vicious communist named Luigi. And something has happened since then. Luigi's gotten popular, quite famous. Women send him love letters. The left can't really bring themselves to outright condemn what he did. And even if they do, it's something along the lines of, well, I mean, yeah, it's not good to kill somebody, but, you know, if it... I thought this little interview with Taylor Lorenz on CNN was pretty revealing.
So you're going to see women especially that feel like, oh my God, right? Like, here's this man who's revolutionary, who's famous, who's handsome, who's young, who's smart. He's a person that seems this morally good man, which is hard to find. They want somebody to take on the system. They want somebody to tear down these barbaric establishment institutions.
Hey, seems like a good dude. And I don't condone what he did, but he seems like a good dude. And I mean, someone had to step in. After all, it's the forces of evil. Captain America isn't violent. He's fighting for the good guys. He's got to beat up some Nazis when you're fighting good guys. And this isn't unique to Taylor Lorenz or CNN. We'll get back to them in a moment. This is how American communists, American Democrats, this is how the majority of them think. Even the average, normal, run-of-the-mill Democrat, that Democrat in your family, in your workplace, at some level believes in violence. Look back. See what they were saying about masking, vaccinations. I remember like it was yesterday, poll after poll came out showing Democrats, half, the majority of them wanted you thrown in a quarantine camp. They wanted government agents showing up at your home, throwing you in the back of a paddy wagon and hauling you off to a concentration camp if you didn't do what you're told. And of course, they would have been standing behind the truck, waving at you, feeling 100% certain that they're the good guys as you went off to camp. Communists are all violent. It is a violent, demonic religion of destruction and domination. And I wanted to have this talk with you because there is something happening right now. It's very, very, very obvious. I don't know if you saw that story in Wisconsin, teenager, murdered his parents. I'm sure you saw the vandalism of Governor Shapiro in Pennsylvania's home. We'll get to that in a moment as well. Obviously, you know about the Luigi story. You know about the 2 assassination attempts of Donald Trump. You know about So I'm here to tell you this. This is really the point of all this. Communist violence is now increasing, and it will continue to increase in the coming days and months. They feel as if they don't have the presidency. They feel as if Trump is attacking their base, their financial base, their base of support in his efforts to clean out the government. They feel uniquely attacked. Therefore, they feel uniquely warranted in committing acts of violence against you and people on the right. And as the violence of communism increases, you will see our very evil media, our evil system. You will see something. In fact, it's already happening. They're laying it out in front of you. As communist violence rises, it gets worse and worse and worse, and people die and they're hurt and they're vandalized, and they die and they're hurt and they're vandalized. As violent communism rises, the media knows it can't cover it up. The American media doesn't have that kind of control anymore to completely ignore it or completely cover it up. You can see it. You have eyes, you have ears. Everyone can see the Teslas burning, the swastikas being carved into things. Everyone knows what's happening. So what can the media do? If they can't keep it from your eyes, if they can't hide it from you, what do you do? Well, it's quite simple, really. There's only one thing you can do. Act like it's everybody, you see. It's everybody. Don't you do this? Haven't you ever done this with your wife or your husband, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, when you're having a fight? Maybe you have a big old knockdown, drag-out fight, and maybe it's your fault. And at some point, maybe right away, maybe you realize it's your fault. What's the end goal of that fight? If it's your fault, yet you're in fight mode? Oh, hey, we both said some things we regret. All right, we both did some things wrong. If it's all your fault, what you do is you grab the innocent party and you lump them in with you. We all made mistakes here. Here's CNN.
What we're looking at here is obviously, when it comes to extremism in this country, I mean, the issue very much so is on the right, on the far right, from Charlottesville to January 6th. There isn't exactly an equivalent on the left in this moment.
Hey, it's the right. I mean, look, some things on the left, but January 6th, of course. And look, Governor Shapiro had his home torched by an arsonist. We all know what was going on. We all know exactly what was going on. And he knows too. He's no dummy, but he's a Democrat. He has to play that middle of the road role in Pennsylvania, but he's a Democrat. And so he couldn't get up and say, hey, I know it was you, leftists. I know it was you. I know it was one of you Hamas lovers. I know he couldn't get up and say that. He had to do that. It's kind of all of us thing.
This type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop.
What a benign, completely useless statement. And that's what it's designed to be, you see. It's not okay, and it's everybody. Both sides are doing it. It's definitely just not one side. It's both sides, and it's not okay. He knows exactly where it's coming from. He knows exactly why. But he also knows this. And this is the hard part. This is hard for you. It's hard for me. It's hard for the country. You can't get violence out of the communists. It's their religion. You can't get it out of them. You can't ever, it doesn't matter what you do. You could give them all the power in the world. They'll just create concentration camps and slaughter millions of you. If you take away all their power, they'll just find little street mobs to murder this person and burn this thing down. You can't get it out of them. Communism is violence is not what communists do. It's who they are. It is woven into their religion because, again, I can't destroy this piece of paper in a non-violent way. When your religion tells you to destroy everything, you will inherently be violent. Post his address. Someone post this guy's address. How many times have you seen some Democrat, maybe someone you know, say that online? Violence. They can't help themselves. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're gonna start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.